Welcome to Everything Weapons with David Cooper and Dalen Savage on 1510 WLAC. From buying a gun, ammo, and gun safety, David and Dalen can point you in the right direction by calling 615-737-WLAC or 1-800-688-WLAC. Now, here they are, the experts behind Everything Weapons. Everything Weapons. David Cooper and Dalen Savage.
Hey, guys. Good evening, or I should say good morning. Dalen, you got to stop yawning during the show, my friend. You look tired tonight.
Killing me.
I know I'm tired. All I can say is my family and I just moved. We lived on, and we'll get into guns, I promise, guys, so just kind of be patient. Every time we come on, we maybe do a little rant or something like that. We don't have a guest tonight, but next week we have a phenomenal guest. We're going to tell you, like, towards the end of the show who our guest is. We're not going to tell you now. But you're going to want to be there because we're going to be doing conversations on long-range shooting and one of the most amazing firearms to be created in probably the last 20, 30 years or something. Yeah. So next week, you got to tune in and tell all your friends. So you can also listen to our show, by the way. I don't know if I've told people, but on YouTube, we have our Everything Weapons YouTube channel where you can go in and listen to all the past shows.
Yeah, you can just subscribe to the channel, listen to the past shows, or you can go to everythingweapons.com. Click the radio icon, and
there you are.
Past shows
I didn't even think about that radio icon. What a novel idea that is, isn't it?
I know.
So, I think some of our past shows, we had Jeff Hoffman from Black Hills.
Yep.
We had Chris Hodgson from Hodgson Powders. Mm-hmm. We had one of the directors of Arsenal. I mean, we've had some great, great shows. So if you guys want to go check that stuff out, that'd be fantastic. We'd really love it. And Dalen, you mentioned the Everything Weapons website.
Yep.
Pricing beyond what you guys can imagine. All I can tell you is if you're not going to that website, you are absolutely missing out on the most phenomenal pricing.
Yeah, go check it out.
We have 4 major wholesalers, probably 4 of the largest wholesalers in the entire industry. Yeah. Every single thing that they have, we have. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. It would take a football stadium to fill for what we've got on our website.
Yeah.
Buds, you ain't got nothing on me. Just kidding. So anyway, back to this move that my family and I did. I've had, 11 surgeries in the last 5 years. So, my body is not in the best shape anymore. Now I've got a boot on for the last 6 weeks, and I've got to have it on for 4 more weeks, when originally it was only supposed to be 6 weeks.
Well, you've had it since SHOT Show Vegas this year.
I walked around SHOT Show 7 miles a day in a boot. 4 days in a row, 28 miles in this boot.
Yeah, you were a trooper.
This boot has just gotten the miles. Then we went to another show in Texas.
Yeah.
And we did that whole day shoot.
Yep.
Where we got to shoot all the different firearms. That was nice.
I can tell your boot's worn out. It's starting to get squeakier and squeakier.
I don't know how to stop that noise. It's unbelievable. Man, everybody knows I'm coming like a mile away. I could not sneak up on a bad guy. Yeah, hey, bad guy, David's coming. So I'm sure it didn't sound that great online there. But anyway, if you guys want to call in and join our rant, feel free. Talk about politics, talk about guns, talk about, whatever's on your guys' mind. But back to this move. I hadn't gone shopping for, I can't keep focus. I just, it's like, mind blown.
You guys want to call in? It's 615-737-WLAC or 1-800-688-WLAC.
Yeah, if Dalen wasn't here to support me, I think I'd leave my stuff down the street. Here, so. And that vote in Ireland today, huh?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that.
Man, we the jokes we could come up with for that. Not that anything's wrong with it, but, it is what it is. Toothpick, anybody? So this move that we did, we went from an 8-acre farm that I couldn't mow, that was costing me like $400 a month because I had to pay the kid down the street to mow the yard. I mean, my wife was so angry at me, I can't even tell you. I'm sure all of us have had wives that have been angry at us. Mm-hmm. And now that we're in this home in like a half acre where the front yard is bigger than the backyard, my wife looks at me and says, well, dear, the backyard's a little small. And I said, we just had 8 acres that we moved from. Wait a minute here. I don't understand. First it's too big, then it's too small.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, honey, it'll be okay. We'll just let the dogs poop in the front yard and the kids can play in the backyard.
Yeah.
We have 2 English Mastiffs.
That's not poop.
That's
something else.
We could compost the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know we got to be careful about all these things we say on the radio, so I'm trying to learn the rules here. But one thing I do want to say before I get back into that move is we were on another radio station before this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the bathroom had been fixed since like 1412.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. We had leaking water coming through the roof. Big trash can, like one of those 55-gallon drum trash cans you get at Home Depot, sitting in the middle of the bathroom collecting stale water.
Just have to dodge it.
The stench was unbelievable. It was like they poured bleach in there just to kill the nasty disease. Then if you actually had to use the restroom, once you got past that hurdle, it just, the smell was unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is about radio, but bathrooms are not their top priority. So I think they're like, well, they'll just call in. Don't worry about that. We'll get to it later. So now this station, there's a, I guess you can say urinal. It doesn't flush. And it hasn't flushed since our first show.
But at least they put a sign up there to tell you.
They didn't the first show.
Well, that's your fault.
Guilty. Sorry, guys. Oops. I'll have to make sure we're not supposed to tell people that, are we? If we do something wrong, my producers are looking at me like, Cooper, you're in so much trouble.
Just run with it.
Yeah. It was like on that other station, they had this DJ that was like really finicky and panicky about his microphone cover. He brought his own microphone cover, and so he left it there by accident one day. Big mistake. So I did everything I could to slobber and spit and saliva dripping from this microphone. And so the next week I came in to do the show, and the microphone cover was still there. I guess
didn't want it back.
He's like, I'm not washing it. I'm not doing anything. Cooper's been talking into it. Done.
He heard all the particles flying into it. So.
Oh, man. He probably watched that, listened to that show on the podcast or something, and just was like, done.
Yeah.
So my wife forced me to go shopping. I don't like to shop. I'm the guy, I go into the mall, I'm done in 3 minutes, and I'm back out doing fishing or hunting or shooting or working something. I do not want to go shopping. It's absolutely something I have no interest in doing. So my wife obviously gets really upset at that because she wants help with the kids while we're walking around the mall for 4 hours. And I don't have time for that. I just want to work. All I want to do is work. So I get dragged into, I think it's Haverty's or something. It's over on Moore's Lane.
Shopping then.
Yeah. So we walk in and the ladies, they attack you because they're straight commission, which I totally respect. And we had a really nice lady. She was from, I think it was Serbia, or, she was involved in that whole conflict.
Yeah.
And the Serbians were the aggressors, right? Mm-hmm. And they came into her town, and they were really lucky, really, really lucky, because they felt, well, we're closest to the border, so we'll be the last ones to be gotten because they have to go through our town to do all the bad things they're doing. Yeah. So they have other things they're interested in. I mean, and this lady's here in this country now, and she's doing great and has a great job. She did a really good job selling because I bought way too much stuff. And thank God for credit cards and credit, right?
Yeah.
I don't like credit. I don't like credit cards. Be like Dave Ramsey. Pay off all your stuff. Get rid of your mortgage. I've been a stockbroker for 20 years. Do what you got to do the right way. Mm-hmm. Then borrow from your 401k to come into our store and buy guns, right?
That's right.
So, just kidding. Don't do that. Dave, I'm joking. So, when we get back from this commercial, we'll turn around and talk about some more of that, and then we'll get into a little bit of politics and guns. Little car wash music there, man, from the 70s.
Exactly
Little, can't get my head through the doorway because my hair's so big. So if you guys want to talk, or there you go, little extra car wash, sitting in the car wash. So, we're sitting there talking about the board here, and Dalen saw all these X's kind of show up for a second. He looks over, he's like, oh my God, are all these people calling in?
I didn't know
Nobody.
what that was. I
So
can't
why
see the
not-
computer screen. There,
Yeah,
so.
why don't you guys give us a call and join in the fun and conversation at 615-737-WLAC or 1-800-688-WLAC for all of you in those 27 other states that we're reaching out there right now. So we move into this new house, and we have this puppy English Mastiff, and this dog eats everything. Mm-hmm. I was in the restroom the other day. He was eating light bulbs. I'm like, Sari, you cannot, Sari's the name of my wife. I said, Sari, you cannot leave anything around on the floor. The dog
Dog was eating light bulbs.
He ate like a $2,000 coffee table that was given as like a donation thing when, and then he chewed a, expensive chair for like a dining room or living room, like not the sofa, but the little singles.
Yeah.
And I mean, this dog is killing me. Not only has he chewed shoes and clothing, he pooped a sock. Unbelievable. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is a gun show, but this dog is I don't know what else to do. I got one of those collars for the training where you can buzz them for a second.
Shot collar.
Well, I was trying to be kind. I don't want PETA all over me.
A training tool collar.
There you go. I like that training tool. Can I give that to? No, I don't want to say. My wife, she wouldn't go for that. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, guys. So I come home. Well, no, we were at Haverty's, right? So we're talking about Haverty's. I lie down in this bed, and I go, that's not what I'm looking for. I've already got a bed like this. I don't need. And Tempur-Pedic, I got to say, is not an advertiser on the show. Mm-mm. I lied down in that bed, and I did not want to get up. I was like snoring in 30 seconds. So I turn around. I'm like, all right. I went online real quick with my phone, checked it, said the price was good. We bought it. Got delivered right when we were moving in. I have not had a night's sleep like this, I don't think, ever. Why did my parents not buy me one of these when I was like 3?
Yeah.
I mean, who knew that spacecraft
man.
material would be so comfortable?
They're phenomenal.
I am sleeping so deep. This dog that I love but hate, he claws at the door to come in, and I hit the roof. Because from where the door is to where my bedroom is, it's like a straight shot for sound.
Yeah.
It comes right in there, and I think someone's like breaking down the door. I'm sound asleep like I've never been sleeping before, and all of a sudden I'm on the roof. And I'm like feeling like I'm falling down. And my wife's going, what? What's going on? And I'm like, you didn't just hit the roof like I did?
Well, he's huge.
The puppy's 125. The big boy's about 200.
Yeah.
I was told that the puppy's father weighs 250 and the mother weighs 200. Wade would be like it was already dead.
Yeah.
And so I'm expecting this puppy now that the puppy is Wally is the puppy and Diesel is the big one. So Wally is 125 and he's 11 months old. Mm-hmm. And sorry, but we took his manhood. We had to, part of the contract, right? You buy a pet dog and they charge you $1,500. You buy a breeder and they charge you like $5,000.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that. If you're listening up in Minnesota, I don't even want to say it. So I have, as part of my family, I have a 8-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy. My 8-year-old girl is like Kung Fu master. Mm-hmm. Brown belt in Taekwondo, green belt in MMA. That's the mixed martial arts killer stuff you see on TV. Like, so she can ground fight. She can get on top of you. She can, she goes to town.
Pound.
Yeah, pound for pound. I wouldn't want to touch her. But then my boy, I think he's crazy. The second I get home, all he wants to do is fight. And I get it, and I understand. I wanted to wrestle around as a kid, too, with my dad. But my son, it was right after I had surgery. No, this was just before I had surgery. And I wasn't feeling well, and I went and laid down while we were waiting for dinner. And, my wife's in there cooking some mastery Thai food, curry, something. My wife's an amazing cook. She could do a restaurant, but then she'd never be home either. And then what would happen to my kids, right? They'd be like latchkey kids like I was. So all of a sudden I wake up to this loud yell, and my 6-year-old is pouncing on top of me. And I'm like trying to like block him from doing this. I never went onto my father and just unabridged with no warning, jumped straight up in the air and knees first into the stomach.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I never did that.
If I did that, my dad would have kicked my... I mean, besides hitting me with a belt, he would have washed my mouth out with soap and packed my bags and said, "See ya."
Yeah.
He would have been angry.
I've had to pick my own switches several times before.
God, I hated those days. Now you go to jail.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now the kid's like 6 years old. Hey, Dad, you hit me. I'm calling the cops.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I turned out just fine.
Yeah, me too, right?
Yeah.
Not too much damage.
No.
So now my thumb, now this will be like my 12th surgery. My thumb, he didn't tear the ligament or tendon in there, whatever it is, completely, but it constantly swells up. You can see it's all swollen right there. And it never goes down. So the doctor says, "So, David, how you doing?" I go, "Well, I'm still in the boot and my foot feels like it's going to fall off and the tendons and ligaments are going to tear again." He goes, "All right, 4 more weeks in the boot, and I'll give you this other thing that you can wear at night. So if you have to use the restroom or get a glass of water or let the dog out, you don't break your leg while you're walking." I go, "Well, what about my thumb?" He goes, "That thing's still bugging you?" I'm like, "Well, that doesn't sound good, right?" Like, he goes, "Well, let's finish with this one, and then we'll have surgery on that one." Thank you.
You're going to be completely bionic before it's over with.
11 surgeries going on 12. This is just ridiculous. So as we start getting into some stuff, we were just watching the TV and listening to the news a minute, and they were talking about the pipeline in Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. And the guy from Plains All American, which was a great stock that I made a lot of money in, but we're not talking about stocks here. And that's not a professional thing and whatever. But Plains All American, the guy spokesman says, the pipeline was safe before it was breached.
Of course it was.
Okay. So it wasn't broken before it was broken.
Yes.
Then it broke.
Then it broke. Now it's broken.
Now it's breached.
Yeah.
So it's no longer safe.
Yes.
And it's the only pipeline that doesn't have an automatic shutoff. Mm-hmm. I wonder how much they paid for that one.
I don't know.
I mean, the Democrat politicians in Sacramento, how much greasing the palms.
Yeah.
So I think we need, now that you guys are kind of getting to know us, and getting to know our families, getting to know who we are, I think it's important that we kind of communicate as a show and as people to you guys so you feel comfortable and you guys know us and you guys want to listen, because I don't know, I just think having a connection is better than not.
Oh, yeah.
So,
definitely.
I don't want to just come in here and say, okay, now the reason you should have this gun is because this gun is a really, really good gun. And I don't know anything about this gun, but it's a really, really good gun.
There are other shows out there just like that.
I've heard of a couple of those. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a whole bunch of guests, but we're also going to just be Dalen and I talking. And so some nights it's going to be a ton of talk. Other nights it's going to be a ton of talk about guns. Mm-hmm. As the political season hits up, I'm sure we're going to get into that a whole bunch. So if you guys want to talk to us, call.
You okay?
Yeah, I think I just tasted some sushi. I like it when it goes down, but I really don't like it when it comes back up.
That's a really bad look.
Yeah, it's not as good the second time around. So, and if you guys have known sushi, it's really hard to find good sushi in Middle America.
It is.
It's a coastal thing.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, but fresh, non-frozen fish is always better. Mm-hmm. And I'm not used to sushi that's frozen. So I bit into some albacore, and it was like ice.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that was too healthy.
No.
So anyway, guns and fishing, that's all we like to do. But sushi's a part of fishing because once we catch it, we fillet it. Eat it right there on the boat. When I was out in California where I grew up, used to always go on the tuna boats every weekend. It was either like yellowtail, white sea bass, tuna, halibut, all that stuff. So we would just sit there and, catch a halibut, cut it up, throw it in the ice box for a little while, let the ice kind of cool it off and get the...
every fresh sushi.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really nice. It was great. So, Hillary on her listening campaign, I don't know if she's really listening, or maybe she's looking for a new date or something.
What did you call her earlier? A lizard person?
Yeah, there's, I had an employee that worked in the store one time. He was fresh out of the military, And I guess he'd heard a bunch of stories in the military, and I'd never heard of these lizard people before. But apparently, the U.S. government is run by the lizard people. And there's all these videos online that you guys can follow. And they show all the politicians blinking their eyes and doing all these crazy, weird things. And it's kind of funny, but... I mean,
you'd be hooked watching it on YouTube.
If it was real, I mean, I'd be like,
yeah, it's a little
if anybody has a comment
real.
on the lizard people, please let us know. Or if anyone has personal, intimate knowledge of a lizard person, But I don't know if I'd want to. Is Bill the lizard? No, Hillary's a lizard person, and I think they said Romney was too, and
Barack
Obama, and Biden or Bite Me, whatever his name is. So we are looking at getting you guys to really understand us, and I think this is doing this. Guns, guns, guns. I think now's a good time that we start talking about guns. For local people that live in the Nashville and Middle Tennessee area, June 6th is Glock shooting day at the range. Everybody who wants to try a new Glock 43, all day at the shooting range, 10 to 7, Saturday, June 6th. When we come back, we're going to talk about everything guns and a little bit of politics. Talk to you guys in a minute.
Welcome back to the Everything Weapons Hour on 1510 WLAC. Make sure you guys, if you want to talk to us, give us a call at 615-737-WLAC or 1-800-688-WLAC. Did you say we had a caller, David?
Yeah, I think we got a caller. He says he knows you, so we're just going to go on cold. We'll see who it is.
Go ahead.
Caller.
Hello.
Alan.
Good.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Hey, I was driving back from Knoxville on my carbine class that you guys set me up for.
Oh, good deal.
I just wanted to tell you what a great time that I had and how I was very, very well prepared.
Good deal. That's what we want to hear.
From the shield on the hip to the Glock in the vest to the MK-18 across the chest, we had a lot of fun.
That sounds fantastic, man. We're glad you had fun.
Yeah, we spent about 8.5 hours of running and gunning. I'm sunburned. I'm exhausted. I'm fatigued. My back hurts.
Yeah, you'll be a little sore tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm a middle-aged guy trying to learn this a little bit late, but it was. I'm completely and totally fatigued.
How many rounds did you guys shoot?
Let's see. I bought 1,000 rounds from you, and I'm coming back with about 100.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds like a good class.
Yeah, we had a great class. Gilbert Perez was the teacher on that, and his organization is Patriot Shooting Academy in Danbridge, Tennessee, just outside of Sevierville. And he's a good teacher because I needed to be yelled at, and he did a good job of doing that and teaching me, some things that you just don't get a lot of opportunities to do in a static environment.
Yeah, it's very true.
As good as range time can be at the Everything Weapons range down on 96, love that time. It's great to get your grip down, get your trigger feel, get all that in that environment. But there's a whole other level of real life out there as far as nothing static. I mean, everything's moving.
Yeah,
moving and shooting and combat reloads and being able to do all that is really tough if it's really happening to you.
Yeah, everybody always asks me too, like, well, what stance do you teach? What stance do you use? I don't use a stance. What stance are you going to be in a gunfight?
Survival mode.
Better be.
I want to live.
So.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you, that shooter, do not hit me, the guy with the gun pointed at you.
Yeah, I've never, as much shooting as I've done and as much playing in the house as I've done, I've never gotten down on one knee.
Yeah.
I've never gone, there was a running stance where you were kind of half squatting.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't squat hardly ever. So that was, I was breaking a serious sweat. And just to get from squatting to back up, and he was drilling us hard. Down to one knee, backing up, shooting forward, coming back, jumping behind some simulated cover. The most fun I had was transitioning from rifle to sidearm.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely met us wherever we needed to be met as far as what we wanted to do and what our skill level was. And we had 5 guys in the class, and everybody's at a little bit different place.
Yeah.
But he came up with really good drills. I had 2 sidearms at one time, and Dalen, I was struggling with that left-handed, left eye dominant, right-handed individual who's got that cross domination.
Cross dominant, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a whole, that's blown my mind in the last 2 or 3 weeks because the way that it's been different from pistol to rifle.
It is, yeah.
Getting prepared for that, but going from a left-handed rifle shooting to a right-handed pistol draw or right to the center of the vest where I put my Glock 26, it was really fluid after you had practiced that a good amount. But, what situations at home are you really going to get an opportunity to simulate that, dry firing? You got to get out there and put some rounds down range. And, I'm not lying to you when I tell you I am sunburnt. I'm fatigued. I'm exhausted. I'm driving back from Knoxville, and by the time I get home, I'm probably not going to be able to get out of the car. I'll be all
that lactic acid will be built up. You'll be stuck.
And if you've got a Tempur-Pedic bed, man, you'll be like me. You won't get up.
So tell us, how'd the Daniel Defense Mark 18 run?
Man, I can't say enough about that gun. I didn't have one jam. I didn't have one issue the entire time.
Yep, I didn't think you would.
There were some other guns there that, and we're all doing this for the first time, this mini round that fast, those situations where you're never standing still. I wish I'd had a video crew because I can't tell how many times I dropped magazines trying to reload.
Yeah.
And fumbling through the whole, how do I grab this magazine and get it back into the gun, the second magazine, and rack that slide to get back shooting? Because, and what he drilled to us was that 10 to 15 seconds can make the difference between you being successful or you not being successful in certain situations. And you really have to get those magazine changes and those transitions done quickly and efficiently to make sure that you're not leaving yourself open.
Yeah. Imagine how many people come into the shop or any gun store and they buy their AR or they buy their Glock or their Shield or whatever other gun, their VP9, and they don't train and they don't do classes like you did today. And they just expect that, when they come and knock on my door, they can pull that gun from my cold, dead hands.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you've really got to get involved in this, and you've really got to train and really understand what it's like to, whether you're doing law enforcement style training or you're doing military style training or you're doing, what I think I have to do to save my life training. You've got to get out there and you've got to take classes.
People need to realize what what stress does to the body. The physiological response that the body goes through. You go through auditory exclusion. You go through which you can't hear. Tunnel vision. Fine motor skill movements
are lost.
They're gone. That's why we always teach. Gross motor skills, big movements, and it's for that reason. This is backed up by a lot of science from a lot of guys that have done a lot more than you and I ever have.
And you've done a lot more than I have. So, Dalen was a deputy sheriff for 11 years, and he was involved in some pretty interesting stuff. And, him and his partner one night came up on a guy, and there wound up being...
Well, we won't talk about that.
Something, but, he knows what it's like firsthand to be in that situation. So we really appreciate you calling in and telling us how that was and, what it was like, because it really brings back the whole thing of you really do have to sit there and train and train and train and train.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you guys helping me get from not being prepared firearm-wise other than my sidearms to being absolutely prepared for that class. So I really appreciate you guys helping me out.
Yeah, man, we're glad we could help you.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon. Thanks for calling.
No problem. Have a good one.
Bye.
Well, see, that's a great story right there.
Yes, it is.
And now he, the thing about him, he'll be hooked. Just like I got hooked, like you got hooked. It's an expensive hobby, but it's cheaper than golf.
I was thinking, when I grew up, my dad had a fish tank.
Yeah.
So I had a fish tank.
Yeah.
The problem is fish die. Guns don't die.
Yeah.
You at least get something back out of it at some point. And if you buy the right guns, you get positive out of it. If you buy the wrong guns, it's negative. Mm-hmm. And if you buy any gun and you want to sell it within a couple of days after buying it, you're going to take a bath.
Yeah.
So, I think it's one of those things that you got to kind of work through. And we talk to people all the time about kind of like, what's your gun plan?
Yeah.
Like what, and they look at me and they go, what? And I sit there and I say, well, look, it's like investing in the stock market. You're not going to put all your stuff into one item. Mm-hmm. I only shoot 9mm. Well, what if there's another rush and you can't buy any ammunition? Then what do you do?
Yeah.
So it's something that I think needs to be well thought out, well planned out. I personally feel one way, and Dalen, you may feel another, and another person may feel another way, because there's no one right or wrong answer.
No.
So I believe in having several different calibers. I want to have your major handgun calibers, and I want to have your major rifle calibers. I think it makes perfect sense to me, because not knowing the kind of situation I'm going to be in, the second that situation happens, I've got to be able to grab one of 3 or 4 different guns. Mm-hmm. I've got to either grab a shotgun with a suppressor on it, or I've got to grab a long-range gun or a medium rifle, or I may have to not go for the 308 but grab the 300 Blackout or the 5.56, or maybe it's, time for the handgun.
Yeah.
So having all of that at my disposal and having some different calibers is absolutely something that I think that is really important. We get back, we're going to talk about some of the new guns on the market, and we really love the carry topic, so we're going to get into some of the different carry guns, and we'll see you guys after commercial. And we are back, so give us a call at 615-737-WLAC or 1-800-688-WLAC. One of the things that I'd kind of like to get into, and we were just talking off air about USPs and the P2000 from HK. Sometimes you don't think about a gun for a while, or you haven't seen it on the shelf in a while, and so it kind of, you just forget about it.
Yeah.
Like when we had, CZ on, there's some really good CZs out there. Mm-hmm. And, I think we need to pick up a few more. We've got some 85s and 75s in stock and SPO1.
Yeah, and people tend to overlook them,
They are one of the best shooting guns. I mean, when we had that guy on the show a few weeks ago, that was great. He really, if you guys want to go listen to a good show, listen to that CZ show, because he's going for the world record. And
it was on the 15th, so I need to look it up.
We got to call him.
If he did it, yeah.
Look it up. Grab your phone, man. Let's see if Mr. CZ was able to hit his 3,000 clays.
That's unbelievable to me, man.
It was, the setup of how this is going and how he did this, maybe it's on YouTube, or, hopefully there's a video that we can find of it. Dalen's looking it up right now. But, we were just talking that, we've got 100 gun rentals at the shooting range for you guys to be able to try guns before you buy them. Before I owned a store, I used to go into stores or read something in a magazine or watch a video and go, I want that gun. Then I would buy that gun and I would shoot that gun and I would say, I don't want that gun. I just made a huge mistake. So the opportunity to be able to shoot 100 different guns that are pretty new guns, I think is really fantastic. Mm-hmm. I go in there myself at night and I'll sit there and I'll go, hey, fantastic. We just got the new Walther CCP in as a rental gun. 30% less recoil in this new unique blowback system. I'm going to try that gun.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get Suri into a smaller gun, and she held that today because we have them at the store. She goes, David, I really like that. Mm-hmm. So now she's going to go down to the range and she's going to shoot the Walther CCP.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm going to interject a minute. So he did set the new world record.
How many clays did he get?
He shot 3,653 clay targets in 60 minutes.
Unbelievable.
So let's see.
We got to call him.
That's more than one clay every second. So it says his average split times between targets was 0.82 seconds.
And is that without a miss?
Without a miss.
Could you imagine 3,600 clay targets in 60 minutes without a miss?
Yep.
Absolutely unbelievable. We need to get him back on air.
That is.
I'm going to call him on Monday and see how that. I mean, unbelievable experience.
You guys want to check him out? It's Dave Miller.
Yeah.
From CZ USA.
And you could probably just Google Dave Miller CZ USA and you'll pull up the video. So I really like some of the guns that we got in this year as rentals. The Walther CCP is by far a fantastic gun, and I'm shocked it's not more popular. I think it's like $429, and it's an unbelievable gun. Another gun that's an older gun that I really enjoy. This gun is what, from 1990 or 91?
Which one, the USP?
No, not the USP. That was, I think, 81, right?
USP was
2000, 91 and 80 and 2001. So I really enjoy the P2000. Mm-hmm. It's a smaller HK, Heckler & Koch. Fits in my hand really nice. And I can't tell you how much I like that thing. That thing shoots really, really well.
Well, especially with that light LEM trigger.
Yeah. I like that.
I'm not a huge fan of double action, single action guns. I never have been. With that light LEM, I mean, you get a consistent 5.5 pound trigger pull every single time.
And I think the consistency is what I like about it. There's no grittiness to it.
No.
It's not off one time
and they get better the more you shoot them. They really do.
I just can't tell you. That is a gun that I like. I think we need to start doing some videos where we get out there and we shoot some of those 100 guns and we talk about those guns and what we like about them as we're shooting them.
Definitely.
I think that would be a lot of fun. If you guys want us to do some of those videos, let us know and we'll start working on doing that. We'll have to try and get them professionally produced and make them good quality videos so you guys don't go, they did that on a cell phone. iPhones are great, but, there's limitations to what an iPhone can do. Another gun that we've got in that, I think maybe I'm partial to is the Shield.
I love the Shield, man.
As soon as that gun came out, I went and bought it, and another store in town broke one off on me.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's had one broken off on them by these guys.
Yeah, I've owned it since the last part of 2012. I've got well over 5,000 rounds through it.
Man.
0 hiccups. And the funny thing is, John, one of our employees, he's a huge reloader.
Right.
He was running low on pistol powder, just like everybody else across the nation is right now. So he decides he's going to load up 500 rounds of 9mm.
Free as.
He's going to load them light, because he's trying to save his
Conserve
powder. And they wouldn't function in his Glock 19 at all. So then he has this, oh, God moment. I've got to pull 500 bullets and redo this. So he brings them to the range, Everything Weapons Indoor Shooting Range in Franklin. And we start feeding them through our shields. They never hiccuped. They never stopped. They chugged along. Now, this is something that a Glock 19 wouldn't eat.
Yep.
And you know how big of a fan I am of the Glock 19.
And the Shield just broke it down.
And it just kept chugging along. So, I mean, it is a fantastic, fantastic self-defense pistol. Probably the smallest combat effective pistol on the market, in my humble opinion.
I mean, I don't see how many other guns compete against this gun. And
the 43 tried, but the 43 is too late. I think.
I don't know why they didn't come out with this like 5 years ago.
I know.
I don't. They said, well, we're a double stack company.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, can I have a little bit more whipped cream with my coffee?
Yeah.
They don't mix, right? So when I first got my handgun carry permit, I sat there and said, all right, I've had a Glock 23 for 20 years. I'm going to go get a 27. The problem is every single person knew I had a gun on.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, that guy's got a gun. So if anyone was going to get shot, I was going to be the first one to be shot. So, in the store, I carry open. But when I'm out with my family, I carry a shield. I also carry sometimes a little SIG 938 as a backup to my shield, or I've got a model 640 Smith & Wesson Pro Series, little 357 revolver, 5-shot with some night sights on it. That's a pretty nice little gun. There's not one right answer. The only thing personally for me, and again, it's a real personal thing, I'm not a pocket pistol guy.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm weird. I know we have a lot of customers that are pocket pistol people, and they just want to stick a small gun in their pocket. And maybe we should take and carry some of those like North American Arms, some of those pugs or something like that.
And customers ask all the time. It's a pretty common question. What is the best carry gun?
What feels comfortable for you?
I'm not saying it to be sarcastic in any means, but the best carry gun is the one that you carry.
If you don't like it, if you're not comfortable with it,
if you're not going to practice with it, if you're not going to carry it, then it's not a carry gun.
Yeah, and I always talk to the ladies about this because I think new female shooters, it's really, really important that when they're gripping that gun, they have that initial feeling of, I like this, it's comfortable. Because if we go back to what you were just talking about, you're not going to put it in your purse, you're not going to carry it inside your waistband, you're not going to wear it outside your waistband if you're not comfortable with the gun.
Exactly.
And it's like we always talk about the little 642s and 442s, any of the hammerless revolvers. We're big Smith fans, but we also like the Rugers, and there's a bunch of other stuff.
Purse carry.
Yep.
But there's other factors that our lady shooters and stuff need to look at as well. If you're carrying it in a purse, we always advise that it's cross strap body. So put the strap.
Not two little handles.
Because first thing that someone's going to jack is going to be your purse. Now they have your weapon as well. A little bit harder to get off if it's crossbody.
Well, I mean,
it gives you a little more time.
Yeah. My mind was like, I don't even want to go there. I don't want to get in trouble. I heard the station had an issue, so I want to keep it really clean. So, I'm really big. I like the revolvers as backup because I think it's really, really important to have something that's fail-safe.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people turn around and they automatically go for semi-automatic, and they don't even think about revolver. So the thing that I want to look at is when you come into Everything Weapons, our goal is to be able to make sure that we're taking care of you. I don't care about what I like. I care about what your needs are, what your goals are, what your objectives are, and we're going to listen to what it is that you need. We're not going to tell you what you need and shove that down your throat and force you out the door with a gun that you don't want. We really want to make sure that we let you hold several different guns. We'll spend hours with you. It doesn't matter. We're going to even say, you know what? Don't buy a gun here today. Go to our range, shoot the gun, make sure you like it, and then turn around and either buy it there or come back up here and buy it. But when it comes to those little revolvers for the purses, I guarantee there's not very many women out there that are going to like that gun. And it's not for liking.
No, and they're not very good range guns at all.
I would never shoot one at the range.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very important that you practice with the gun that you're going to carry. But they were never designed to be, make pretty holes in paper. It's purely a defensive firearm.
I would buy like a little 22. Smith & Wesson has the, is it a 341 or a 641, something like that?
Yeah, the little 22 one.
Mm-hmm. Or 22 or 22 Magnum. And they've got a nice big white dot on it.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect training gun, and it's the exact same shape as the 442 and the 642. So that you can turn around and say, all right, I'm going to buy this 22, even though it's more expensive than the 38 Special Plus P.
Yeah,
it should be kind of opposite, right?
It really should be.
So Smith & Wesson, listen to your consumers. Make that gun cheaper for us. So we turn around and say, maybe you want to train with the 22 and keep that 38 in your purse, because that 38 is going to have a lot of recoil in the wrist. Wouldn't you agree that's not a very comfortable gun to shoot?
No, they're not. They can be made better with, like the Hogue Tamer grips and stuff like that, but then you're also sacrificing the concealability of it.
Very true.
But I think it is important that female shooters, do shoot them, do practice with them. No, well, not even just female shooters, male shooters too. I know a lot of wheel gun guys that carry, the little J-frame revolvers.
Like I said, I've got that 640.
Yeah.
And that thing is a great gun. It's just hard. You've got a 640 on one side and a shield on the other, and, you're full.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, can I get in the movie theater like this without being noticed? You get kind of weighed down a little bit, right? And so, you walk into certain malls or you go into certain places and they have a no-gun sign on one side of the street, and on the other side it says, welcome, please come in. And you go, where's the sign?
Yeah.
So I guess I can carry that way, but I can't carry that way. Exactly. Exactly.
Am I supposed to carry in there? No. Am I able to? Yes.
So as we're coming down and winding up with the show, Next week's guest,
Are you going
drum roll, Chris Barrett from Barrett Firearms. We are really excited. Dalen, I think it's your birthday next week.
It is. So
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Dalen's taking an absence, and Chris Barrett from Barrett Firearms is going to take his place. So we're going to have a great show on Barrett. Call in with your questions. Take the whole week. Think about what are you going to try and stump Chris with, and let's see if we can have a really good show there. June 6th, Glock Day at the range. Come out and shoot the new 43. And right now we have a huge, massive sale for Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody who buys a gun gets a free month at the shooting range. Mm-hmm. We have Smith & Wesson Shields at $379, an unheard of price. We have like 50 or 60 of them at that price. Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly how many, but we got a big order in.
Standard MMPs, $489.99.
Unreal. We've got the 442s and 642s at like $389.
$389, yeah.
So, I mean, the pricing right now is just absolutely unbelievable. If you're anywhere in the country, we can ship it to you. Go to our website, call our store, 10% off all ammunition, all holsters, all gun bags. We're blowing stuff out.
We hope everybody has a great Memorial Day and that everybody remembers what this day was about.
And
we're
open. We're open.
Yeah, but we want all of our listeners to remember this is a day to remember those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country, for us to even be on the radio talking about guns.
We wouldn't be if it wasn't for them.
No, not at all.
So we thank you very much. But we are open Sundays. We are open this Monday. Mm-hmm. We're only closed a couple of days. So come on, listen in. Stay tuned. We'll hear every Saturday night at 9 o'clock, and we'll see you at Everything Weapons.